Hi, my name is Damon and this is the second part of facial rig. In the previous video we saw how to create the joints for the jaw and the eyes, and I connected the eyes to an aim constraint in which now I can control each eye. Oh, I didn't see that. And which makes it kind of cool. And now, alright, we can move each eye separately, and I can move each eye together. Alright. And then we connected the joints to the rig, and I added an influence from the joint to the skinning, which leaves me now to do the skinning. So what I'll do, without further ado, we'll start skinning. So the way I do it is very simple. I'll isolate my selection. Alright, so it's easier to see. And I'll go into skinning, which is skinning. And we'll go into paint weight tool, alright, which is under the skinning menu. And I already have it open, so I'll double click on it. And the way I do it is, alright, so I have the head, and it's got 100% influence. All the rest have 0. How do I do that? I just go each one and I flood, put here value 0, and I flood it and just leave the head joint controlling everything. So then I go to the head joint, and before I put anything on the head joint, I start off with the chest, and I'll bring this up to 100% and I'll put replace. So now in the replace, I'll just paint whatever I want the chest to influence. Now in usual rigs, this area here will be influenced by the shoulders, which I don't have here, so I'm just putting the chest under that. Then I'll go to the neck, and the neck will get a little bit of both, but basically it will get all the way up to here. And I'm doing this really roughly, alright, because I'll fix that up later. Alright, so that actually means now that I go back, get to the head, then I got to remove all of this. I'll go back down to 0, and I'll just paint this out. And notice I do this very roughly, and the reason I do it this way is because afterwards I'll get into doing this a lot more close to what I want. And if I really want to get this right, alright, so I'll go onto the side view. I use my lasso selection like this. Alright, then I go here, and what I'll do is just press flood, and then I know for sure that the head doesn't have any influence over these guys here whatsoever. So there we go. So if I go back to my rig, alright, and I choose the joint and I turn it, alright, now it's just turning the head, and if I choose the neck, it's just doing this. Alright, now it's not even close to being what I want it to be, but each area is basically working on its section and moving its vertices, but it's moving it very roughly. So we're gonna slowly but surely gonna make it nice and good in that area. Alright, so now I actually have to do the jaw. So let me isolate this guy again. I press this button here if I want to isolate. And we'll go back to the paint tool. We'll go to the jaw. And sadly, Autodesk have never made a mirroring option to paint on an object, which is really annoying. But this is what we have, so we're going to use it. Sorry, I'll undo. I'll make it smaller, and we'll start off with this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint all the way up to the cheek. Do the cheek here. Make sure it's all 100%. And this is going to be the jaw. Alright. Up the cheek. all the way up here and across, down, alright, onto the lip. Now it doesn't really matter if it's not 100% right because I'll be mirroring over the weights. So it's just got to be roughly in, just to see what I'm doing. Alright, now I'm going to zoom into the head inside. Alright, and I'm going to paint the section that the jaw is going to influence. Again, I'm only going to do the one side properly. The other side I don't care too much about because I'm going to mirror the influences over. And this is going to go all the way about here, just to where the neck goes down. Something like that. I think that should about do it. Alright, I'm going to go to the neck joint, and the neck should get at least the bottom half of this. Oh, sorry, wait, I didn't do this properly. I'm going to move the neck. Neck should get the bottom half of this. Alright, and the head should get this. The reason I'm doing it this way because I want everything to move. Alright, so now I got to remove the influence. Just leave this to the jaw. Okay, one side is more important. Alright, if I press Control, I reverse my selection. So I could use Control B, as you know, will make this a little less powerful, and I'll just paint out the influence. I'll actually take it even a step further up here. I'm not too worried about it because I will add some weights in, but we'll get to that. And I'm going to paint this out, all of this out. Alright. Alright, so I actually just did half. And we're going to paint it out. I think maybe we don't need this for now. Alright, so this should do it. Alright. And what I'll do now is I'll go to my skinning, and here in under Edit Smooth Skin I should go to Mirror Skin Weights, and it's pretty much what I want, and I just go Apply, and that's about it. Now it's very important that your character will be in its bind pose when you do this, because otherwise it won't move the parts properly. Alright, so now when I'm done skinning, alright, let's test it out. Alright, could open the jaw. Alright, so I didn't do it properly, and let's see why. Let's go to the jaw. Let's mirror the weights. Okay. Mirror the weights. That's weird. Let me just reset the tool. Sometimes that needs to be done. And 1-to-1. That might help. Alright. There we go. So I added 1-to-1. And I'll open the jaw and close it. What I usually do in this situation, I give a keyframe. Alright, it's 0-0 on the rotation on frame 1. And on frame 4, I'll open the jaw all the way. I mean, to its maximum opening. And of course, the reason I do that, as you can see, is now I have an animation. And now I could go back to skinning and fix up my mistakes. Alright, so I'm going to isolate it again. And I'm going to, of course, add the influence to the middle. And we'll go here. Alright, so this is the head joint, and here I'm going to put 0, and we'll start removing. Make this big, and I'll remove the influence from here. Alright. Now it's also very important when you do this to not be on a smooth shading. Alright. Again, if you press 3, do this. I always tell my students when you skin, you should do it on, actually when you do anything in Maya, especially modeling, you do everything. Alright, I'm smoothing it out now. I do everything in my hard texturing, whereas I don't know what they call it. Anyway, on 1 when I'm on polygons. And the reason I do it is because I get if it looks right here, then it will look right everywhere else. Alright, so now I'm just smoothing out between the two, the jaw and everything else. So see, just to get like a good stretch, maybe pull that down, smooth out a bit. Alright, smooth the keyframes just up so I could see, and I'm just working on one side just so I can get this under control. Stick this all the way up. Alright, I'm going to smooth this out here. Alright, smooth it out, and we go back to the head, and here I'm just going to make sure there's no weights. Neck, I'm actually going to remove these and smooth out a bit. Alright, so now we're getting a better push down. Alright, maybe I'm gonna smooth out here. Alright. This is almost right. I'm gonna have to smooth out here a bit. Again, as you can see, I'm basically trying to get this to work the way I want it to. Alright, there we go. So we got the inner mouth, we got the other mouth, and I got a nice jaw move. Alright, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. Okay, I go back to my bind pose. Alright, and I'll go to my mirror geometry, mirror skin weights tool, 1 to 1, apply. And now if I move the animation, it should be exactly the same. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll smooth out just a little more here, just so I get a little more pull off the cheek. Alright, I'm going to go up, back to bind pose and apply, and that should be good enough for that. That basically leaves the rest of the neck, so I'll do this really quick. Alright, so again, I have to do some sort of animation, so we'll go here. Usually what I do is just open these guys up. Alright, so it's pretty easy. I know that's the head joint and the jaw joint, so delete the jaw joints. Keyframes, select the head joint, and while I'm in here, we'll go to keyframe it at 0, and I'll rotate the head and tilt it up. Alright. Alright. Let's start off with the neck. I'll do this as well. Set key at 0. And we'll start off with tilt the head to the left. And then here I'll tilt it up. And now all I have to do is select. Alright. And isolate the selection, and now I have to start cleaning out. So first things first, I want to go to the neck and let me see, maybe go to the chest, and we'll start, I'll go to add and just give it like a little small weight, and I'll just add just a little bit here. I'm using the add because it's better than smoothing right now. Alright, and I'll smooth that out. Alright, then we go to the neck, and I'll smooth out the neck. I'll actually remove the influences here. Oops, sorry, remove the influence. Alright, because I don't want it to influence most of this stuff. Alright. That's because usually it's influenced by something else. Alright, now I start smoothing out. Alright, go back to the chest. We'll smooth this out a bit more. Maybe let me just add this in. Just because this whole section here should not be influenced by the neck at all. I will take it back. Alright, so we got that. We go to the neck, and I'll remove a bit, but I will smooth it out. I'll go to the chest, and I'll smooth this out. Oops. Alright, so now when I move the neck, alright, I seem to be getting another influence from somewhere. No, it's just the neck. Alright, that means that the neck is pulling too much here. So I'll remove a bit and then smooth it out. Smooth it out, and we'll go to the chest and add more. And maybe move some more and smooth it out. See, and I'll just do it on one side because I know it's gonna work on both sides. And now you see, like, the idea is to get a really smooth flowing curve up the neck. Alright, and there we go. See, it's a nice smooth line here. Alright, that brings me to the head. Alright, and I'm going to use a little bit of the head influence to get this to be a little less harsh. Even take this back a bit. Alright, so now we're getting this. It's a little less harsh, and we go back to the neck, and there we go. So that's nice, and it's almost there. Alright, so that leaves me to do what I did before and use my 1-to-1, apply, and there we go. The neck seems to be nicely deforming, and that's the whole deal. Now if you model this correctly, you'll get the deforms you want. I usually go on and put the head in other situations, like I'll take it to 7 and set a drive key, then go over to my rotate tool and try pull it up. Alright, see if that's looking properly, which it's not. You see it's a little thick. I'll push it down and see what's happening in the back, if I have penetration, but basically more than this I won't do, so it's okay. I am gonna have a look at this. Let's go to the jaw, I think. Just that. The neck. Take that up a bit more. Chest. That's fine. I mean, I could still work on it, but it's okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is make sure I'm going to choose the head joint, double click, delete. I'm going to choose the neck joint, double click, and delete the animation. Delete animation. And that's it. So that was the skinning. In my next video, we'll go on to show how to connect the jaw and the blend shapes.